Altcoins are bleeding. Okay, my favorite one, which is TRVL. Unfortunately, we couldn't hold this kind of area of interest yesterday. That doesn't mean that the selling hasn't stopped. Yeah, you see so far, you see how low the volume is on this downward push. This is on Bybit. You see how low the volume is? It's very low volume. Low volume selling isn't bearish at all. Yeah, all that's happening now is the market is these markets, these altcoin markets are moving with Bitcoin at the moment. They're kind of moving up and down with Bitcoin. Okay, but most people are just hodling. They're just waiting for Bitcoin to find strength, to find support, and maybe also they're waiting for the halving. So even though technically we're losing levels on relatively low volume, once the price bottoms out, it'll be a really good opportunity to buy at cheaper prices. I think most people, if they're looking to accumulate altcoins, they should be just continuously buying and scaling in, yeah, and just continuously dollar cost averaging in, because sometime in the future the price of these tokens are going to be up significantly. Yeah, I'm expecting TRVL to get up to 17 cents, 30 cents, $1 and higher. You know, I'm not, this isn't the top for me. But the problem is that because of Bitcoin and the volatility in Bitcoin and the up and downness and the uncertainty of Bitcoin, we're getting a slow bleed on TRVL. You can see it. So this is a slow bleed. Eventually it will stop. Eventually it will happen. Okay. Now, obviously I'm quite optimistic and I'm quite bullish, but you know, no one is 100% right all the time. Okay. We are coming back into levels, but until Bitcoin sorts itself out, we're not going to get wider interest in picking up altcoins, except for people like myself who are dollar cost averaging. Like yesterday, I bought more. Yeah, the price is down now 5%. I'm looking to buy more. As the price comes down, I'm looking to accumulate more TRVL, because nothing has changed as far as I'm concerned regarding the upside. Yeah, so it just gives me an opportunity to accumulate more at lower prices, you know, for a short period of time. I thought that we wouldn't come back under 9 cents, and here we are at 7.5 cents. That's great. That's fantastic. I can get it for 16% cheaper than the launch price. I'm okay with that. You know, I'm really okay with that. I'm just right now, I'm just like, I'm basically looking around my attic, finding coins that I'm going to take to the bank to buy TRVL. Like literally, I'm trying to find money to buy more TRVL. Yeah, I'm selling assets to buy TRVL. That's my mentality. Not just TRVL, but some other tokens too. Lockdown, welcome, hello. You think he's asking me a question? You think Solana bounces back today? I'll have a look at Solana now. Let me just finish this. Thank you. So I've already explained that this V shape, you do it. There is some kind of pullback on these V shapes in a previous stream. Unfortunately, it was expected, but we just don't know how far the bleed is going to go on for. This is a little bit of a bleed. And it would for me, it would be more bullish if we held higher prices, just simply because the higher prices that we hold, the higher the targets that we have. Okay, but it doesn't negate the bullishness when you see a V shape and you see a pullback. Yeah, so this is just a random image I've pulled off the net. You see there's a V shape here, and there's always a pullback. There's always a pullback. Yeah. So see that? We're into this pullback now. You see that? So it's the same as this. This is the V shape. And we're into this pullback now. This is the pullback. That's what we're experiencing right now on this V shape idea in this price action. And it's really painful for a lot of people because they've lost a lot of unrealized value. But this is what's happening. We've had a V shape. The volume is good. Look at the volume profile on that V shape is very good, and the pullback is on low volume. Okay, respectively, it's in some low volume and it's reducing volume respectively. There's a little bit of volume coming in now. People are panicking a little bit. Maybe they're thinking of buying a little bit lower. Okay, that's fine. They may get caught out. They may be the ones who buy back lower, and that's fine. Okay, it's not a big deal. But what I'm seeing is this. Okay, and we just need to bottom out on this little bleed, and then we're gonna have this. Then we're gonna have this kind of explosion, and then we're gonna have a continued uptrend. That's when we have continuation on our uptrend. This is normal. This kind of behavior is very normal when you have some kind of V-shape price action. So I wouldn't kind of worry so much. It's a good opportunity to just accumulate. How far it goes, I don't know. There is a little bit of a descending wedge here. It will get to a climax some point. Maybe, who knows, you know. Now, what's the worst case scenario? Yeah, and still be bullish. Okay. So let's contemplate the worst case scenario without changing to some kind of bearish price action, right? Bearish kind of structure. So let me just go to Bitcoin. Sorry, let me go to Bybit chart. And as far as I'm concerned, on the daily time frame, we're making higher highs and we're making higher lows, right? So you can clearly see from the all-time low that as we came in, we were making lower highs. Then we started making higher highs. Okay. And we were coming in and we were making lower lows. And then we've started making higher lows. Higher lows, higher lows, higher lows, higher lows, higher lows. Okay. So you can clearly see the trend has changed. We've changed from a downtrend of lower highs and lower lows to an uptrend. Just after the all-time low was put in, the structure changed. Higher high, higher low, higher high. So we've changed market structure to a bullish uptrend on the daily time frame. And at the moment, our higher low pivot is at about 5.1 cents. On different exchanges, it's going to be slightly different, but thereabouts. And so as far as we don't lose that level, it would still count as a higher low the next time we make a higher high. Okay, so as long as we don't lose that level to make another low, a lower low, then we're still good. We're still in bullish market structure. Okay, now there are different things that could happen if we do lose that level, and I just want to explain, and I just want people to be prepared so they understand what could happen. If for some reason you do make a lower low here, that would not be a confirmation of a market structure change. Okay, that would be the first thing needed to change market structure. You start by making a lower low, you need a lower high, and then the confirmation would be a lower low. You need two low lows in a row with a lower high in between. Okay, so until you get that confirmation, you're not going to have a change of market structure. The same thing happened here. Yeah, you start with a higher high, you then put in a higher low, and then you eventually get your higher high. Yeah, so you need 2 higher highs in a row. In between, you need a higher low. It's the same thing. So until that happens, there's no confirmation of change of market structure to bearish on the daily time. I'm contemplating daily time frame. I'm not going into the local time frame because actually I'm focusing on the higher time frames. Okay, so this is what would be required to suddenly change this uptrend into some kind of downtrend. It would look really bearish. You see, that's looking like now like a head and shoulders pattern. That would be very ugly for the bulls for that to happen. It'd be very bearish for that to happen. Put in a lower low, put in a lower high, then confirm it with a lower low. I think you're going to see a sell-off if that happens. You know, that would be very terrible. Okay, I don't expect that to happen. I'm just saying this is what needs to happen for this whole price action to become bearish. You're effectively invalidating this V shape by coming down to make a lower low. Once that happens, people will be looking to exit their tokens at higher prices. That's what would, the sentiment changes, you see, and it's all about market sentiment, whether people are bullish or bearish, and it's all going to depend on whether market structure remains bullish or bearish. Yeah, what bulls want to see is lows defended and higher lows continued. At some point in time here, we want to see another low to be put in and for another high to put in for the market structure to continue. If we take out this high here, then we're changing the market structure on the monthly time scale. Yeah, you see on the monthly time scale, we have this pivot here. It's a lower high. We need to take that out. We need to make a higher high. Yeah, on the monthly time scale. We've put in a lower low here. We need to take out the high to make a higher high. Then we need to put in a higher low. Then we need to take out the latest high to make a higher high. And then you have a change of market structure on the monthly time frame. Okay, it's really important. Okay, how the market structure works and how it influences the price action. So despite people maybe feeling a little bit bearish right now, despite levels kind of being lost, I think all that I'm seeing right now is a couple of things. I'm seeing some volume gaps being filled. So you see, as the price moved up, suddenly it formed some gaps where there was like no volume increases in prices. And all I'm seeing now is that some gaps are being filled. It's not easy to see gaps. You'd have to do a volume profile on the rise. And there are a few gaps you can see in the volume profile. It's not easy to see, but there are some like tiny gaps, which what happens is the price is always trying to fill gaps, because the price doesn't like gaps in the market. There's some here, look, I can see them here. There's a gap here. It's a little bit of a gap there. There's some gaps here as well. Very slight gaps. There's like little gaps in the way the price has come up, and what the price is trying to do is fill those gaps. That's what it's always trying to fill, gaps. And maybe that's what's going to happen. Maybe that's what's happening. We're just getting a kind of equalizing of the market before the price can continue. The price will go down, fill gaps, and continue. That's what happens. So a good place to like really accumulate. I mean, I think it's good to accumulate now. I think people should be thinking about dollar cost averaging in and just scaling in. Not just this token. There's a lot of good tokens out there. Although I am a little bit biased towards TRVL, simply because I feel that we can take down Airbnb. And we should. Let's do it. But the golden pocket is always a good place. So for me, that's an interesting area, the golden pocket. And if you do a volume range pull from here to here, you can see that this is on Bybit. You can see that just on this, from this candle here, this green candle here, through to the current price, you can see that the value area low is slightly lower. So there's an area of interest here coming into the golden pocket, into the value area low. And then the other thing I think everyone should kind of consider on the higher time frame, I've drawn this out before, but I'll do it again. I'll probably show you on MEX because it will be a lot easier because I've done it on MEX. Yeah. And I'm not saying the price is going to go down that far. I have no idea what's going to happen. I really don't. I wish I did, because I would just tell you and life would be easy. And that's why we have trading strategies and accumulation strategies, because it helps get through the uncertainty. But when it comes to, I've got this Gann fan which I've drawn. I can find it there. Yeah. Oh, look, it's not pretty, huh? Look, we've kind of lost it a little bit. I'm not fond of that idea at all, but maybe we haven't. I don't know. Look, maybe we have, maybe we haven't. It looks like we're losing it. I'm not fond of that, to be honest with you. But we are coming into the reverse. Actually, maybe I've drawn this scan wrong. Hold on, let me just redo this, because that should be correct. That shouldn't be right. Hold on. Let me. Oh yeah, it's wrong. You see the pivot there is incorrect. Let me just redo it. I must have moved it by accident. Let me just move it to the correct pivot, and then let me just make sure that this is in the right place as well. Okay, so we haven't lost it. You see that? So take it from the all-time high on MEX to the first all-time low here in December 22. And then if you draw your Gann fan, you'll see what's happening. You'll see that we've come above it. And then if you do fib extension, a fib retracement from this relief rally pivot down to the all-time low, you'll see there's a golden pocket. We've come above the golden pocket. We've sprung from the golden pocket, we're above it, and now we're coming back into it one more time. So what I'm seeing here is some kind of back test on a previous resistance level, and we're trying to flip that into support. This whole area is a whole resistance level which we're trying to flip back into support. Do you see that? So we're coming into that area right now. Yeah. And if you combine this idea with the V-shape idea that I have, let me just pull that image again just so you guys can see what I'm talking about. Why are these images so poor in quality? I need to create my own website and do it properly. So poor. Quality is so poor. Is that better? Yeah. Oh yeah, that might be better. A little bit better. So yeah, so combine that with the V-shape idea that I have. Oh my God. It's going crazy. So you have this is the V, and you have this kind of channel downward move, and then you have eventually have this explosion. And so we've done the V, and now we're in kind of this downward move. We're trying to come back into support. That's what's happening right now with the price. It's largely to do with Bitcoin, yeah, and eventually wherever we land into support, we're going to have this, we're going to have an explosion. Okay, and then the trend continues, because you've just put in a higher low and you've just made a higher high. Okay, and hopefully with this explosion we can get above 14.5 cents, or wherever the last high pivot was, it was 14 cents, and that would be a higher high on the monthly time frame too. That's what I want to see. Okay, So this is what I'm contemplating now. I just want people to see where we are and not to panic, not to stress out. And you can see now that the price is almost exhausted and we're coming into a back test of this higher time frame golden pocket and this higher time frame Gann line that I've drawn out, which seems to be reacting, this 3-1. All right, and it kind of coincides nicely with this idea that I have that we've had a V shape, we're just pulling back now, ready to go up. All right, so these are some things I just want you guys to think about, and I wouldn't like stress. It's an amazing opportunity to accumulate more. Dan has something to say. ETH BTC broke down, BTC did going up. I'm not in favor for alts. That is not in favor for alts, I think. Absolutely not. You're absolutely right. That being said, what goes up must come down, right? Or what goes down must go up. I'll have a look at those in a second. The other thing I wanted to share with you guys, and I think this is quite interesting, is this. If you go back to the last bull market and have a look at AVA. So AVA is the reference at the moment. Why? Because AVA, TRVL came out of AVA. And so a lot of things are similar. Right, I'm going to get rid of these drawings because they're not relevant. Actually, it's interesting because AVA is coming back into test. This LPS is quite good. It's a good place to buy AVA as well. But let me just get rid of this. All of this stuff. Excuse me. Hold on a second. Okay, sorry about that. So looking at AVA, what's interesting for me is this. I just want to show you something, okay? And I think this is quite interesting. So it's basically this green candle here. Yeah. Monday, the 11th of May, 2020. And the Bitcoin halving 20. Let me put the dates in. I just want to have a, I want to see exactly when the dates were. It was May the 11th. Okay. May the 11th. So what I'm going to do is just show you what happened on May the 11th. Go all the way back in time. So the next Bitcoin halving is in 15 days time. Historically, the third halving was on May the 11th. And look, this is May the 11th. This is the daily time frame. This is the Bitcoin halving, the last bull market. There. And In that week, the price went up on Ava. Like 200 and almost 250%. Yeah, just in that week, 250%. It went into a consolidation, and look, it went up again. You see that? And that basically was where the bull run began for Ava. You see, look at the price action. It was quite bullish. It's a bit of lag on my... See that? Pump, back test. That was like your wave 1, wave 3, back test, and then you went into your wave 5. You see that? That's what happened. Pump, back test, and pump. And then Ava ended up at the highs of $6.7. Yeah. And from that date that I mentioned, Ava was at 11 cents. So from the Bitcoin bull market halving, which was on the 11th of May, Ava started off at about 11 cents. And in the whole of that continuation of price action, bullish price action, it went all the way up to a peak of $6.7. All right. So we wait. Well, basically everyone is waiting for the Bitcoin halving. That's what's happening, right? And I've shown you here on Ava that it was the Bitcoin halving had a massive impact on the price. Let me go to another token, just out of curiosity, to see what happened in the previous Bitcoin bull market. Let me have a look at Matic, for example. Go back all the way to May the 11th. Let's see what it looked like. May the 11th. Slightly different. May the 11th, because the price didn't pump as much as Ava. Did go up. It went up 100% before it came all the way back down, but then it went up. A slightly different price action. Maybe because it was a higher market. I don't know. Let's have another look at another one. Maybe something a little bit smaller. Excuse me. Let's have a look at BNB. It's interesting as well. Let's go back to May the 11th. There it is here. So May the 11th on Binance Coin, you see this? And the price went up. But basically what you're looking at from May the 11th is the price couldn't get back down to the same level. It came back down one time just to test it. It went up and it came back to test. But actually, that's really when the bull run begins for these altcoins. It's the Bitcoin halving. All right, that's what I'm seeing in previous kind of historic price action after the halving. Doesn't mean history is going to repeat itself. But when I look at TRVL, yeah, we've never had a bull run on TRVL. Feels like it's over. Cactus Cake, good morning. We've never had a bull run. The price of this token has never run, and the project is sound. So I'm pretty confident that we're good. Like, I'm really confident that we're good. I'm really confident that when it comes to the next Bitcoin halving, which is in 15 days time on April the 19th. So let me mark that out. It says April the 19th here. I hope that's correct. I thought it was a bit later, actually. Okay, let's just say it's the 19th. Sunday. That's your kind of victory day. VE day. Victory Europe day. Victory World day. So Let me see, how many days from now is that? The hell? 44 bars? No, that's May. I'm an idiot. It's not a Sunday. Friday. It's a Friday. Okay, there it is. That's your D-Day. So how many days from now? Yeah, 2 weeks from now. So in 2 weeks from now, that's it. That's your moment. That's our moment of glory. Let's just hold support, huh? If we can hold support, and then we can go up. That's what I'm thinking. All right. As long as we don't lose this low, I'm not fond of that idea. I don't want to lose this low here. That wouldn't make sense to me, to go all the way down here and lose it. I think if that was to happen, we'd have a little bit more work to do. You know, you'd have to make a higher high, then you'd have to make a higher low, and then you have to take the high again. You know, like it becomes a lot more it becomes a lot more difficult if we do lose that for some reasons that I can't explain. I'm not expecting it. I'm expecting support to hold. All right. Excuse me. And then Dan, you're curious about TRVL BTC. So let me just have a look at that again. Well, this is the monthly time frame. You see on the just looking at these candles. Let me start with the candles first, right? This red inverse hammer into the lows in high volume on the yearly time frame is a bit of a reversal candle, and that's what we're seeing. We're seeing a little bit of a reversal here on this whole candle. Okay, and then you kind of break it down. You see now on the 6-month time frame, we're forming some kind of reversal. I'm not expecting this to go down actually, but we're not getting the volume that we want to see. Like, we want to see good volume on the BTC chart. We're not seeing that yet, and I think a lot of the volume is coming from the USDT, which is pushing the price up against BTC. So what you're seeing is a revaluation of TRVL against USDT, and in comparison to BTC, TRVL is outperforming BTC in terms of USDT, but it's not because there's BTC being transferred to TRVL. There's no volume. You're not getting that crazy volume coming into TRVL yet. All of this downward move, this whole downward move volume that we're seeing, people had TRVL and they were just selling it to BTC. So rather than sell it to USDT, they were selling it straight into BTC. And that's what happened in this whole down move. That's why you have high volume coming into BTC. But the price adjustment now from TRVL compared to BTC is because of the increase in value against USDT. So it's just a change in the value in accordance to USDT. Okay, but it's not because the volume is coming in from BTC. That's not what's happening. So I wouldn't necessarily consider the volume so much on this chart. It's not that important. It's not that important. as long as you're getting the volume coming into USD from USDT. And so I'm not buying TRVL with BTC. I'm buying TRVL with USDT. Yeah. Other people are buying TRVL with USDT. They're not buying with BTC. That increases the value of TRVL, and therefore on this BTC chart, you're getting an increase in value against BTC, even though it's not volume that's coming in from BTC. That's what's happening when I look at the this whole kind of price action. It's largely following the USDT price action. If I put it side by side, now let me just do it, just to give you an idea of what I'm seeing. That's on KuCoin. Let me just put it on KuCoin so we have similar charts. Just move these. Right. Daily chart, KuCoin. Daily chart, KuCoin, both daily charts. Okay, the one on the left is Bitcoin, the one on the right is USDT. The USD one started later, so sorry, the Bitcoin one started later. So that's where the data begins, where this, you can ignore all of this, okay? And you can see the price came down, came up, came down, came up, okay? So they're largely following the same path in terms of the price action. You see that? Against Bitcoin, there was a bigger drop after this pivot was put in. That pivot went up and it made a higher high, whereas here it made a lower high. So against Bitcoin, it was quite strong then, and against USDT, it was quite weak. And then here, it's made a significantly lower low against Bitcoin, and here it's made a not so significantly lower low against USDT. So it's a lot stronger against USDT here. Okay, but it's pretty much as well, it's doing the same thing. To me, it looks like it's overcorrected against Bitcoin. Okay, and you can see in the USDT it hasn't overcorrected, it's more balanced the way the shape is forming. And that, to me, that tells me that there's more upside against Bitcoin because it's overcorrected against Bitcoin in comparison to what you would have expected. So if I go to the slightly higher time frame, I'll just have a look at that. They do look similar, it's just that we've overcorrected on Bitcoin. Okay, that's what I'm seeing. And I don't think people are necessarily trading the price chart against Bitcoin. They're probably, the volume chart is more pertinent. But you see, look, the indicators are looking very similar. You see that? The CCI, which is the one that I use, they look very similar. So basically, they're kind of following the same path. The MACD against Bitcoin is looking quite bearish actually. And here again, there's a little bit of bearish divergence there. If you make a higher high here on the USD chart, then that invalidates the bearish divergences here. With this, you've got a lot more work to do, because as soon as you make a higher high here, you're looking at a bearish divergences. Okay, you need to make a higher high to invalidate that idea. Okay, there is a little bit of an SR flip happening here as well against Bitcoin. And so we are into a little bit of resistance against Bitcoin. This is the weekly time frame, but you can clearly see there's a little bit of a SR flip here. Yeah. See that? So I wouldn't be like too overly bearish about this, because if you look at this SR flip against Bitcoin, we've attacked this resistance line once, twice, 3 times, 4 times, 5 times. We're having a little bit of a pullback. Eventually that line will break. Eventually it will break. Yeah. That's quite a lot of tests, and eventually every time you test those lines they get weaker, and so I think that's not a bad thing. Yeah, to just keep on pushing. Eventually you have a breakout eventually, and probably the same thing is happening here, just slightly differently. It's probably the 9 cents mark, to be honest with you. I think once we clear 9 cents, you're going to see a little bit of a breakout against Bitcoin, against the Bitcoin chart. It's probably there. Okay, they're very similar. Where do you buy against TRVL with Bitcoin? I mean, I can't really give you an answer. It's not easy. I think that the best strategy is scaling in, because we don't know how long this, I think this correction could last for a couple of weeks, all the way up to the Bitcoin halving. Yeah, and like, it's very hard to pick the bottom. Alternatively, wait for the first sign of strength. That would be my, if you just want to wait for the first sign of strength, then that will be your indicator. And the first sign of strength that you're going to be seeing is a daily candle reversal, probably. So right now, when you're looking at the charts, we're not seeing a reversal yet. We had like this green candle here, which could have been a reversal, but we lost it. And actually here it made a lower high. And what I'm looking for here is a little bit of a reversal, and I'm not seeing it just yet. And that might be the first clue. And the kind of reversal that I'm thinking about is something like here, where you had a nice red candle and then you had a bullish green candle that followed it, closed higher. We had the same thing happen here. Yeah. And so that might be your first clue. And then you don't have to worry about scaling into weakness. You can just wait for the first sign of strength. So if in the next 2 weeks you get like a red candle and then a nice bullish green candle, you could probably buy that green candle. You know, you could probably even ape in, because it times in quite well with the idea of the Bitcoin halving. But otherwise, I don't know. I think probably my strategy is just to scale in. All right. So beyond that, if you want to trade, then I think the volume levels are going to be the best way to do that. But again, there isn't much liquidity on the Bitcoin chart, so it's not easy to trade large amounts. Okay, that's the problem. It's not crazy liquidity. You get too much slippage. Yeah, so that's the problem. But I mean, obviously, and it's hard because you're not going to get filled, so you have to buy at market, and then the price slips and you're not getting a good average. But if you were to like set limit orders at these high volume nodes and just and limit orders on the higher onto the upside as well, then maybe that would be a good way to do it. Okay, so we're coming into one now. It's slightly lower actually. No, it's correct. If we were to lose that, there's another high volume node just before the point of control. It's just here. You know, there's a few of these nodes where the price has been reacting. Yeah. So I think that's the best strategy. If you want an easier strategy, then maybe just following one of these moving averages would be better. Look, we're coming into the 50, but obviously the 200 is the best entry. And actually, I was just thinking about the moving averages the other day. I was thinking maybe the 50 isn't the best moving average. And so I wanted to mess about with it for a bit. I'll do that now. I'll get rid of this now, that's not relevant. Where's that Gann? Then we'll bring it to the top. Support. With that, I was wondering if actually the 50 is not so good, maybe because MA charts have their own nuances, so I'm just thinking maybe there's a better one. Let's try 60. No. Let's try 70. I haven't even messed about with the EMAs either, so maybe EMA would be better. I want this one to touch here. 65. Maybe that's better. Maybe 65 is better. The way to tell is to look at historic price action and see if you can see reactions. Maybe 65 is better. And then you can catch it correctly. You see it's caught correctly here twice on the 65. 1, 2. And then you're looking back, you can see on the 65 there was perfect reactions here and here. This was a bit messy. It's quite subjective. That was one thing. Maybe EMA is better. I'm not sure. I have to mess about with this. I'm not going to do it now. Yeah, Surf is still selling off, huh? I'm okay with this. Like, really, it's really not bullish. Freudian slip. It's really not bearish. But we just have to see what happens with Bitcoin. Like, everything right now is Bitcoin. It's a good place to just accumulate. We have 2 weeks. Let's see what happens in 2 weeks' time. Let's see how far the price gets. We're coming into this 50 moving average on the daily time frame. At the 65 has reacted, you know, every time, the last 2 times. So where is that landing there? Slightly lower at about 6.3 cents at the moment, you know. And if you do a local golden pocket at the moment, that's kind of, that local golden pocket is coming in at about between 6.8 and 7 cents, right in the middle of this back test of this higher time frame, the other side of the higher time frame golden points. It's quite a strong area where I would expect the price to hold, especially after we've had a little bit of a sell-off. Like, it's quite, eventually you're just going to exhaust the sellers. They're just going to exhaust it. It's good when they exhaust into support. So it's not a bad place. All right. Any questions on TRVL? I would love for us to kind of clear the next Gann, because there's a little bit of space to the next one. From the 3-1 to the 4-1 to 4-1 to the 8-1, there's a little bit of space. And I would love that to happen. I would love for us to get up here and then just push up to the next one. And then the last one, once you clear the last one, then we can pretty much head into price discovery. That would be really nice. Okay. Maybe not so far in the future, maybe a bit earlier. Who knows?